We're back up again. Yeah. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Sorry about the last little stream there. My computer jammed up and froze up in the middle of this important stuff, so I figured I better just reboot it and start over again. So here we are, back to this image. Again, this was on the 15th. This is yesterday's activity. But just look at that image for a minute. You can clearly see our round object right here. It has some kind of magnetic field that the sun's interacting with. Plasma's coming off, turning and going up and over the top of this. We got plasma coming out down here and scooting and going around the back of it. And let's hopefully have a little better luck this time, going frame by frame. So let's go backwards a little bit. Now that we know that this is a nice round object, if you watch it, if we back it up, you can clearly see it still all the way back here. It's got a nice round shape to it. Here's the instrument reacting to it coming out. We'll back up even more, all the way back until where it first starts. That's pretty good right there. First starts interacting with the corona of the sun. It emerges kind of from behind the occulter here. There's a nice round shape to it right there. Ooh, let's go back real quick. This frame right here, I want to zoom in on this one real quick because you can see our round object right here, right? Now let's zoom in and maybe you guys can see this little circle right in the middle of the bigger one. It's as if this bigger one has a smaller moon in front of it. So here's the bigger one, and then you can see this smaller circle right here. Hopefully you guys can see that with my arm out of the way. Maybe use the arrow more. This little circle right here. Okay. And then let's zoom back out here. Okay, now you can see it from the wide angle. And then we'll continue forward through this a little bit more. Just scoot her down a little bit. Okay, so here it goes, progressing out of the frame. And then I think right here, this frame right here, we're going to go zoom in on this again because maybe it'll pick up on the screen here. Here you can see our big black object, but right here you can make out a faint circular object just outside the arc, or just inside and outside the arc of that other one. It looks like it's its little moon right here. It has moved from this position to over here as this object's emerging. It's pretty faint, but maybe you can see it a little bit as I back out. So there's our main object, okay? And as it's moving out, I was pointing out earlier here that its polarity seems to be reversed from the sun's, because as it continues to move out of frame here, we're going to look back behind it at this black X structure right here. And what these appear to be is like, let me zoom it down there. That's a little bit better. Now this one appears to be coming off the southern pole of this object, coming across and then bending and reaching down to the northern pole of the sun. This one's draping all the way down, crossing the other one and reaching down this way towards the southern pole of the sun. Hopefully you can see that. Let's go to another image right here. There it's a little bit more defined. This reverse polarity happening right here in this cross, this exchange of material here. Okay, we're gonna continue through the rest of this one, and then as, let's see, we can get more into the frame here. As this moves out, and the X pattern is still connected all the way here. Let's back it up a little bit here. Okay, you can see our X pattern right here. Boom, boom. And watch this one reach all the way around to the northern pole of the sun. Okay. Look how arced this is. This is reaching down to the southern pole of that object. It has taken this plasma and bent it all the way around as it's still connected to the North Pole. It's, stretching out in like a spaghettification type effect here off the northern pole of the sun. And you can see it's just taking this material, totally bending it and taking it down this direction. I've never seen something so bent like that coming off the sun. So we'll proceed through this. And then right here at the end, it appears we have another object protruding, coming up from behind the occulter right here. And I think there's only like one more frame or so of this, or a couple more, as this object emerges. All right, and that was it. So there's the last frame. And here, this is still attached, reaching back over, and now it's connecting to this object that's also having its interaction with the sun, too. So, there's that. That was yesterday. And now let's take you to today, because today's activity was a little strange. You already see this streamer up here is still left over from that object that was moving off of here from the last frame, from the day before. Now as this loads up, there we go. Okay, so let that play just a couple of loops and see if you guys can spot it before I point it out. Okay, and let's just scroll up real quick to show you that this is January 16th, 2022, today. Scroll back up a little bit, and then what I'm going to point out is on this next loop as it starts, watch this object start right here and move into the sun right there. All right, you see that object down here right where my little arrow is? It starts right about here and then moves right inward. All this material is moving outward. So you see this object move in, and then look up here, boom, there it goes. It like bounced off the magnetic field of the sun. It hit, boom, and then bounces out and goes up north here. So it comes in, boom, bounces, and comes out up here. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening there. That's what it looks like. That thing's bouncing off the magnetic field of the sun, has an interaction, and just like two negative poles on a magnet, they repel each other, and it shoots off at an angle. Okay, so that's today. That was activity happening today. The other one I showed you was yesterday. And then let's go back some more. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Let's go back. All right, there's the 16th. Here was the 15th that we looked at. Let's go back another day to the 14th. Let this one kind of boot up here. Hello, Jennifer Davis. Hello. Fiddle's new. Thanks for coming, folks. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I was having some technical difficulties there. So now this is the 14th. This is 2 days ago, the 14th, 2022. And then what I want you to watch is the beginning of the loop starts with this jet coming out over here, right? We're all looking at this jet coming out, and then we have this huge explosion over here on the right. So let's really quick, I want to point this out while we still have it here. I'm going to zoom in on this real quick because just like in the 16th, just like today's, watching here, you'll see a little object come in. And then boom, this huge explosion. Let's see if we can pick it up again here. Yeah, it looked like, hopefully you guys can see it after the reloop here. It starts right about here and moves right in there. And then this thing reacts, kaboom. And that was a huge explosion. So I'll zoom back out a little bit. Put that out of the way. So back on the 14th, we had some little object move in, again, interact with the magnetic field of the sun and bounce off and have this huge explosion. Now let's pause this explosion here because, boom, and we'll back it up. Okay, so here's our instrument reacting as this thing starts to emerge from behind the occulter here. Boom. Okay. Here's our instrument reacting to the front wave. Get out of there, you. All right. It's reaching out down here. Let's go a couple more. Now, right here, you guys see this black circle, really faint line right here? This is an impact zone. This is a damage ring from plasma coming off and hitting the surface of this object. There's a bigger one back here. And in this next frame, it's outlined in black right here, okay? Now I want you to see this plasma is coming off at angles. It's coming off and arching this way, arching down that way. It's all hitting the face of this round object right here. Here's the damage ring going around the outside. Now watch closely as this damage ring stays and material flows over it. Do you see that? We're going to go backwards a few frames. Okay, especially right up here. If you watch this line, this is really dominant part of the damage ring right here. So watch that, and then I go forward, and then backward. See all that material flowing over it. And here's the original image. This damage ring right here with this little white streak coming down with another one inside of it right here. This one starts at 1436. Okay, now we'll go forward. It's right there still. Forward some more, forward some more. Now look at it. It's 1548. And that damage ring is still there while other material flowed over it. We'll back it up. See that flow? That damage ring went from 1436 to 1536. It was there for an hour. This is a plasma conduit that made a damage ring on the surfaces of this planet for an hour. Let's back it up again so you guys get to see this, because this is important. You guys need to see this, and hopefully my camera is picking it up. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the screen here, so maybe the autofocus won't have to fight me. See that? And it looks like it was a short time as I'm flicking through these, but that actually lasted for an hour. Boom. And then this object finally loses its magnetic grip and tugs away and pulls all of this material out with it. So let's put it back into motion here. Object comes in, boom, big explosion. Okay, and that was on the 14th. Now, let's go back to the 15th, because this is the image that is just, nice and clear now. Planet X News has a forensic filter that he uses, and he gets really crystal clear images of this thing, where I don't have a filter, but this time it came out nice and clear for us, and we'll even freeze frame that one and go through this. Boom. All right, there's the first good image, and you can see the little circle right in the middle of it right here, like another moon of this object in between us. Let's just zoom in on that too while we're here, so you can see that again. Boom, boom. Looks like this thing has an eye in it. And you see the circle now that I'm talking about? Right here, inside this bigger one. Now we'll back out. Way. There's a good one right there. All right, that is a really good shot of it. I have a strong feeling that the moon is giant spaceship draining something, but I didn't get to all of it. But yeah, some of this stuff I have seen ships in here, and just one of my last videos I showed you a crystal clear image of a ship streaking right through the camera's view, and it did a barrel roll right in the middle of this maneuver. So there's ships out there. There's a battle going on out there, you guys, and we got these objects attacking our sun and stripping it of plasma, just weakening it, I guess. But there's that image. The tiny object is the same size as our sun. Yeah, I know. It looks like it is. When you look over on this side, this white circle represents the size of our sun. That looks about the same size, but it's hard perspective. We can't tell if this is closer to us or further away behind the sun. It looks as if this material is going at an angle back in towards the screen this way a little bit. So that looks like it might be behind the sun a little bit as it makes this pass. It's hard to tell. But there's a nice clear image of it now. It's hard to deny these images anymore. And this is NASA's instrument, okay? This is NASA's own satellite that we use to study the corona of the sun. And they're not blocking these images out anymore. They might block out some of the UFOs or whatever, but stuff like this, I don't even think they know what they're looking at, maybe. They'd be filtering this if they knew what this was. So I had to bring you this one because now it's nice and crystal clear. I had some people debating me whether these are like magnetic pockets or what do you call it, a planet roll or some kind of like magnetic roll or something like that, which can be on some of these, but others here have a solid object in it with their own magnetic field going around it, and you see this plasma draping around this magnetic field and giving it shape, painting it like a target. Tiamat, yeah, I hear there's all kinds of names for it. There's different channels that call this and call it that and stuff, but these are the objects that that were talked about by back in history by the Egyptians and the Sumerians, and they have hieroglyphics, a planet with wings on it. Well, some of these are like stellar cores that are right next to a bigger stellar core or black hole that's ripping material off of the smaller one. And the material flying off backwards towards the bigger object causes debris tails. And they're not wings, they're actually debris tails. And when the sun hits it with a CME, it ignites it and ionizes, excites all those ions in there and makes the wings glow. The debris tails actually glow when the CME hits them. And I've showed you that before in other videos. But for this one, I had to bring this one to you because this stuff's affecting our planet. We just had a huge volcano go off. We're going to have crazy weather, volcanic activity, more earthquake activity as these objects interact with the sun. This might not cruise by our planet, but just the fact that it interacted with the sun and the earth are, joined, and anything that happens to the sun affects us here on earth. So that's why I bring you these. These are signs in the sun. These were promised in the Bible. Look for signs in the sun. Well, that's why, because you're going to start seeing other planets and other objects coming into view. And this is probably one of many. This is one that came out nice and crystal clear, though. Black. Yeah, sometimes they're black, and if you think of a stellar core, that's the core of a star that has collapsed down on itself. So if you took all the atoms on the planet and collapsed it down into a ball the size of a BB, it would be really dense and really heavy. It would be so dense that it would absorb light and bend light and wouldn't reflect light. See, light has to hit something and bounce off with it and go in your eye in order for you to see it. Well, if the object absorbs the light, it can't reflect off of it and you can't see it. But when they interact with the sun drapes over these invisible objects, just like a tablecloth. When you throw it over an invisible table, it'll paint the lines and the corners and give you the contour and the shape of the table, the invisible object that's underneath. Well, as these things come out and material plasma drapes over them and goes around them, it paints them, and now you can see them. The actual plasma is giving away the object that's hiding behind it. They also bend light too. So they have the ability to take the light from behind them, bend it around, and project it onto the front of it, making it see-through or invisible too. It's like, think of it this way: gravity is like Mother Nature's natural cloaking. Okay, the more gravity you have, the more you can absorb light and cloak yourself. So I believe the reason why they can't see a lot of these objects is because they are so dense that they bend light, they don't reflect light. So you have to see them this way when they interact with the sun. And a lot of people are telling you, oh, there's this big planet outside our solar system. I think it's inside our solar system. Let's be honest, it's right here, right next to our sun. Now, this is 93 million miles away from us, so it might not affect us that much. This material, for lack of a better term, dark matter is basically what it is. This material interacts differently. It's really dense, but its magnetic field isn't very strong until it picks up more energy from the sun. The more times these pass by the sun, they get stronger and stronger. Their magnetic fields get stronger and bigger. And I think that's what we've been watching over the last few years here. You know, this all started for me back in September of 2017. And there was the Revelation 12 star alignment back on the 23rd of September 2017. And about 13 days before, I caught something in NASA's images here, and it looked like Nibiru, and it had this huge thing back behind it. Maybe I could put it on here if this computer will cooperate here, but anyways, I just wanted to bring this to you. Let's try real quick, see if we can pull up my channel without jamming the computer. Well, maybe not. I was going to show you what was shown to me by some divine forces, we'll say. There's my channel. Click on videos, and then all my stuff drops down. So right here, in this one, let's see if we get it at the right spot. Here's our... Okay. Back up a little bit here in this video, if it'll let me. Okay. Hopefully, you guys can see this image right here. This is September 17th. September 10th of 2017. Here's an X-flare that reached all the way out and hit this black circular object right here. The CME excited the particles around it. Here's the wing coming off on this side. I can't really make out the wing on the other side. And that was the dragon that was foretold in Revelation 12. The dragon appeared in front of the woman. Well, it appeared before the woman. It appeared 13 days before the woman. Then, as we move on, this is the next frame. hopefully in here you can see that we have a bigger object right here, a round spherical object that this CME is draping over top of it. In the middle of it right here is a conduit of plasma, like a funnel-shaped vortex reaching out from behind the occulter, the sun, behind the occulter, reaching out and hitting this planet. There's a round damage ring right there of the plasma hitting the surface of this and spreading out. Now this is all happened right before the Revelation 12 sign. So this is part of the revelation, this object right here. And the bigger one back behind the smaller one here in front is pulling material back towards it. Maybe I'll go to a better video where we get a little better image of it. Let me, for those of you who are still hanging with me, here, some troopers here, thanks for hanging with me here. Yeah, this stuff is important because, you know, they're trying to blame us all on, you know, global warming, and but they don't tell you that one volcano blast puts out more CO2 than all of our emissions over entire history.
Folks. First off, I'd like to say thank you to the fellow YouTuber who showed me how to use the side.
Okay, so there's a little bit better image of Nibiru. What I think is Nibiru is because, there we go. Okay, maybe, oh, I know what I can do. I can bring my magnifying glass. All right, so here we go. I'm going to blow up this image so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Roll it up a little bit. Okay, well, maybe right there. In this image now, you can see here's our round black planet. Here's the CME reaching way out and draping over the front of it. And it also electrified the outside of it, and you can see the glow around it. Here, you can make out this wing. This is like pointing backwards. This is material being pulled off, ionized, and being sucked back to the bigger object back behind it. Now, hopefully in this one, you can see the little other wing on this side over here, the other debris tail coming off and circling back, just barely. If you tilt your head to the right, maybe 10 degrees, you can see it. And that's the same thing that the Aztecs, or that the Egyptians and Sumerians were talking about, this winged planet. Well, here it is. It's caught in NASA's satellite here. I don't think they know what they captured here. But I had a little help in deciphering what this was, and let's move on. Let's back out just a little bit here. And move on to, if you do this, something might fall out. Okay, so let's go on to the next real image right here. Boom. Okay. Now, that's a little bit better. Hopefully, you guys can see. Now, remember, this is three-dimensional. This isn't just a circle. This is a ball. This is a sphere right here. Now you can really see, here, I'm going to get my hand out of the way, this plasma conduit right here. This little vortex coming off and going into this object right here. Now you can make out this circle, this red dark circle is the impact zone or damage ring on the surface of this bigger object. Now this is pointing kind of backwards, which tells me that this object is still kind of behind the sun in this image, at this juncture of this event. Here's the size of the sun right there, okay, that white circle. If you look at the size of this thing, it's easily 3 to 5 times bigger than the sun. And that was on September 10th of 2017, 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment. There's the dragon that was promised in the Revelation right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So, back out of that. And ever since then, we've had this activity going on around our sun, and I've been monitoring it. And we'll go back to this image right here a little bit. And one other thing I wanted to do, I don't have it out. Maybe I do here. I showed this in the last video, but maybe this will help just a little bit for reference to kind of show you what I'm talking about in this image here. If you can't see it yet, here's a drawing I did kind of to represent it. Now you can see this plasma conduit coming off this cone shape, hitting this. Here's the damage ring and the impact zone on the bigger object back behind, with like the little Nibiru in front with the wings pointing back to it, because the gravity of this object is ripping material off of this, sucking it back to it. There's probably a big debris field in between this and that. Okay, so that's the image that's right there. Okay. All right, back to this one now. So here we are again. Here's another object. This one's roughly the size of the sun in this image. Going right there, right next to the sun. Yep, they exchange plasma, yeah. And those plasma exchanges sometimes they get huge. They're really big, sometimes they're really strong. I've seen plasma exchanges between an object like this and its smaller moon. So something like this will have a plasma exchange with its own moon after passing by the sun. They'll excite each other and still have a little plasma exchange. I've shown that in a few videos back on my channel, back in the past year. But so, yeah, a lot going on there. I wanted to bring this to you guys because it's pretty important, and we're going to start seeing more side effects, I feel, that I pray I'm wrong, but I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some more volcanism, more earthquakes, crazy weather, and these things have a tendency, if they do get close to our planet, they cause these tidal surges and tidal retreats where the water will just disappear and go out for a good mile for no reason. There's no tsunami coming, there's no nothing, and then it just slowly creeps back in. Well, that's the gravitational effects of these objects when they pass, close to our planet. They tug on it a little bit and cause these weird tidal surges and stuff too. So be on the lookout for that. These huge blasts are sending particles our way and stuff. So we're going to be seeing auroras, all kinds of, electromagnetic interferences and disturbances. This one looks like it's going off, at a glance. It's not earthbound or earth directed, but when these things interact, they cause CMEs, and if one of them gets in between us and the sun, causes CME that comes our way. So, and I think it's important that people start realizing that this is real. This is what's really going on. You want answers to all these, what the governments are doing and stuff. They're all preparing behind your back. They're all getting ready because they see this shit too, and I think they know, and they're just not telling us. So, but I'm not going to cover it up. I'm going to bring it to you whenever I find something that's worthy. So, let's see. You guys got any questions before I wrap it up real quick here? Did you want to see anything else? You want to see any angels or something like that? Let me know. I think the chemtrails are also to deflect radiation. Yes. Deflect radiation. They also help cover these things up, hide them. One of these things could pass by our planet pretty close, and give us gravitational effects and stuff, but we wouldn't see it. We might not see it because even if the sun is shining on it, it's not reflecting off of it, so it could pass right by us and we wouldn't see it. Until these things actually start to, get stronger and they're not, they're radiating light instead of absorbing it, then they'll start to be visible to our eyes, I think. So there was that one. Here, I'd like to close out with this one because this is what it's really all about. See, back on Easter of 2020, something happened right here. No, not this guy. He's not what happened. Let's get back here. This is what happened. I don't know if you can see this, but tilt your head to the right. I'll get out there. And you can see Jesus' eyes, his nose, his mouth and chin. There's his beard, his hair flowing back. And up above is a crown hovering over his head. Now this appeared in the clouds on Easter, and this was like an hour-long event, and I took probably 200 pictures during that hour of this event. Now, if you can't see it, I've actually ran it through a filter to make it a little more visible here. We'll go back. Let's see if it'll let me do one more video. Oh, there it is. New filtered image. Okay.
One of the best ones here of Jesus in the clouds with his crown and his thorn, or his crown hovering above his head up here. And if you turn your head to the right, you can make it out a little bit better. Well, now I found a way to clean it up, so now we're going to run it through a filter. Now look at it. Now you can really see it. Turn your head to the right about 45 degrees. You can make out his face, his eyes, nose, his chin and his beard, his hair flowing back, and the crown above him. And let's do it one more time here. Let's enhance it even more. There we go. Now you can really clearly see it. So I was just messing around and finally found a way to filter these pictures, and I've been going back through a lot of them. And
so, important image right here. This is another revelation, as promised. Jesus in the clouds, coming with great glory. Yeah, he's got a crown hovering over his head. Yeah, it is amazing. This is probably some of the most important information we've gotten in the last 2,000 years. This is a real image to you guys. This is not photoshopped or doctored. I did run it through the filter to make it more enhanced. But this actually took place, and there was an event. This actually turned into a lion face after about an hour. A lion face with the crown still hovering over its head. And I did a video on that one. I won't show it here. Well, it's that one that we started watching here. It's called Christmas Gift right here. And in the thumbnail, you can make out the lion face. It doesn't. Maybe I'll try real quick for you since you guys are still watching here.
Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit.
Can you see it?
Going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face.
So I took a bunch of the pictures, I stacked them all on top of each other and put it in a flip book. Almost makes it like a cartoon flip book so you get to see the motion.
Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus' face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I took these images and zoomed out and compressed them. You didn't zoom in. They're too big in your face. You have to zoom out to see these. And these images that you're looking at have all been compressed.
Okay, you see it, yeah. Now, what I was saying is these images are up close in your face. So when you look up in the sky, you can't see it. It's too close in your face. You have to zoom out and compress these images, like I was saying, and you're actually seeing from a different dimension. You're seeing a bigger picture pulled back. You're seeing a different dimension right here. When you watch these and you see these pictures, you are seeing a different dimension. Okay, because if this was over your head, you would look up and you wouldn't know. But I was able to capture this event, come back, compress all the images. I knew something was going on up there. I couldn't see it really well in my camera, but you can sometimes. Here's a little trick. If you take your phone and you open up the camera, it takes that whole sky and compresses it down to your little screen. So that does half of the compression for you. If you see an event in the sky and you think something's happening, Open up your camera on your phone and point your phone at the sky and look at your screen. Pretty soon you'll start to see the faces in there, and you go, oh my God, and you'll start squeezing off pictures like I did. See, where is it in this video right here? I'll back up just a sec. Okay.
A little bit here through a lot of these.
All right, you see all these pictures up above?
Images, all the way to right about here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now,
the best part about this whole thing, these images, this event happened on Easter. That's huge. That's another huge sign. Jesus saying, hey, I'm here. I'm close by. This is all real. You're watching Revelation unfold right before your eyes. Look up. You might see, your redemption coming in the sky. And I was able to capture it. And I keep bringing this to you guys because it's real and it's that important. So it's all about Jesus' return. And he tells me to look for signs in the sun. So I monitor this and I watch for signs in the sun, and I'll bring it to you guys whenever I find anything. So this is a huge one right here. This one's nice and crystal clear. No second guessing this one. It's right there. There's no the sun reacting to it tells you it's there. The reversed polarity of this thing. Let's go real quick into that one more time, because I just want to see the reverse polarity for those of you who missed it. Okay, as this object moves out of screen, get it a little bit better here. These ribbons come off and cross right here. These are like ribbons of polarity, like magnetic field lines coming off and crossing, because this pole is attracted to the northern pole. The southern pole of this attracted to the northern pole. Northern pole of this is reaching down to the southern pole over here of this. Here, let me pull it down. My bad. There we go. This is coming down. This one's going across. There's a nice X shape where those two field lines cross. And then as it continues on out, you see this one on the northern pole of the sun really extend out here as we finish going out like this. It doesn't do it. But there. Now it's all arched and still reaching all the way back down to the southern pole of that round object. It would probably be right around there now. Okay. All right. So back up and I'll leave you with that one image. Where is it? There we go. Yep. All right, you guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for coming and enjoying the stream with me and everything. And please share this with everybody you know, because this is of ultimate importance. This is real. It's all happening. It's really coming down, and it's time people know so they can start getting ready. All right. I love you all, and until my next video, bye. Bless you all. Yeah, I'll keep you up to date.